What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the Dolphins Broncos game and specifically the Dolphins offense and how they were so stagnant and how that ultimately led to them losing this game, surprisingly. So the topics I wanted to talk about today were A, the offensive line, B, the receivers and their separation, C, the play calling, and then obviously the quarterback, Tua. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the offensive line on this play. So on this play, Tua, the play call is a play action. Tua, as soon as he looks upfield after finishing the handoff, Eric Flowers gets beat, and so the second Tua looks upfield, he's already being pressured up the middle, and that leads to a sack. So look at it from a different angle, you can see the blocking a little bit better. Eric Flowers just completely misses his punch, and Tua has absolutely no shot on this play. So that's play number one. And play number two is this one. So on this play, it goes a little bit differently. Tua is just doing a traditional drop back, and instantly you can see Austin Jackson gets beat off the edge. And also, while this is happening, a linebacker is blitzing. And how this play starts is Solomon Kinley and Jesse Davis on a double team on this defensive lineman. And so what has to happen now that they recognize that there's someone blitzing, Jesse Davis goes to block that person, which means that now this guy is all Solomon Kinley's responsibility. And he was not in very good position, which means that as soon as Tua steps up to evade his pressure on his off the edge, he steps up right into Solomon Kinley missing a block and ultimately a sack. So another play that Tua really didn't have a chance to begin with, and this happened all day long. These are not the only two plays that happened. So now moving on to my second topic, which is the receivers and their separation, or lack thereof, I guess. So how this play is going to work, it's a play action with a moving pocket. So the different routes that these guys are running, Mac Hollins is on a cross. Devontae Parker's just, I don't even know what you'd call this. It kind of looks to me like he gave up on the route because the play was going to the other side of the field. And then Antonio Callaway on this side of the screen. I honestly don't know what this route was supposed to be. My guess is either just a go route on the seam, or a corner route, or I don't even. As you'll see, he gets jammed up here. And he like trips over himself, so that's not an option. And then the other one is Durham Smythe on a flat. So, and how that gets covered. That Alexander Johnson here makes a great play covering him. He had a great game, but that's not what this is about. So, Devontae Parker, he kind of gives up on the route, and he's not even like really involved in this play at all, which is kind of weird because since he's the best receiver on the team. Antonio Callaway does not execute his route properly, I don't think, because he was never even slightly open. There's no shot that you could throw it to him. And the issue that causes, him getting jammed up there, is that Mac Hollins is supposed to be on a cross. And if this is an in-breaking route, which I think it might be, that means that there would be a gap here that Tua could lob that in there to Mac Hollins, which, if the play design was an in-breaking route for Callaway, I'd understand that. I think that would work, but there's like a jam here. There's 4 defenders in the area of where that ball would be. So he's not an option either. And then I already showed you Durham Smythe covered up very well. Tua is on the move, and he just kind of lobs it in there. Durham Smythe catches the ball but out of bounds because, I mean, there was no shot there was nobody that he could have gone to on this play. And this comes from the Dolphins just don't have great talent at the receiver position, especially in terms of separating. They have some nice jump ball receivers, but not guys that are great route runners or have great speed, other than Jakeem Grant, who's not on the field in this play. So this is just kind of a personnel issue that they kind of won't be able to address until the offseason, the Dolphins. And so on plays like this was not the only play that this happened. Again, all these plays are just, I'm showing you an example. Tua he has no shot to complete a pass here, and even the scramble, he tries to execute that, but yeah, as you can see, there's no hole there. So that's another issue with this game for the Dolphins offense. So the next thing I want to be talking about is the play calling, which I'm going to show you the two negative plays. I will say it was not all terrible, just like the receiving was not all terrible, just like the offensive line was all terrible. But this was the second time this happened this game. So this is going to be play action with a moving pocket. Two is going to be rolling to his right, which is the design on this play. And you see this all the time in the NFL, right? You see the quarterback rolling to his right, makes a throw. But the issue with doing this with Tua is he's left-handed, so you don't want to have what happens here, where Tua has to throw the ball across his body. That's because you could get way less power on the throw, which means it's likely to be less accurate because you have to focus. It's just all bad. You'd never want to be throwing across your body. And this is a play calling issue. I don't know why Chan Gailey had him roll to the wrong side. He'd been doing the other thing. He'd be having him roll to the left all season. My guess is the fact that he's on the left hash, so there would be less space to work with. But then just don't call a play action with a moving pocket to begin with. I don't really understand. And that's not where the bad play call ends. As you can see, he ends up throwing the ball to Malcolm Perry. But looking at the other routes, Devontae Parker was just on a crossing route. The Dolphins have run this play a ton this season with a crossing route. And Jakeem Grant is on a I don't really know what this route's called, but it looks like an out route, and then he moves it up like he's going on a go route, and then he does a comeback. So I don't know what's like the point of having Jakeem Grant run this route. Tua, not a specifically strong arm, not a weak arm, but that's not his strength. He's not going to throw across his body, 25 yards into a tiny window on a comeback route to Jakeem Grant, 5'7" Jakeem Grant of all people. So this is just a really bad play call. It ends up going for like 3 yards, but this was the second time this game that they called a moving pocket play action to the wrong side of the field. So I don't know what Chan Gailey was thinking with this play. Really weird. I'm going to move on to another play now. This one. So this is on a 3rd and 18. Keep in mind. And on this play, what they end up doing is a screen pass to Salvin Ahmed. And 3rd and 18 screen pass usually is not what you want to go for. It works out okay. They end up getting like 13 out of it. Which, in a normal 3rd and 10, let's say, that's what you want. That's what you would want. But on a 3rd and 18 to call a screen pass, like it's basically just like running the wall. You're basically giving up on that drive, and you're hoping to just get better field position for a punt. So I don't really get just giving up on a drive. I never like to see that, and this is just, in my opinion, a really bad play call. So now that I'm done giving what most people would call giving excuses for Tua, which I kind of am, but whatever. I'm actually going to talk about some of the mistakes Tua made, because he is definitely not free of blame in this game. Although I did want to give you context behind how some of these decisions and whatnot. So this play, the Broncos are rushing 3. This is another example of how bad the Dolphins' offensive line is. So on this play, both tackles get beat. So Tua, feeling pressure on both sides, decides to just check the ball down to Patrick Laird on 3rd and long, and which leads to a punt. And this is in the 3rd quarter. The Dolphins hadn't scored in I don't even know how many minutes. It'd been a while. They'd had a ton of 3-and-outs. Their offense was just completely stagnant leading up to this. So, and you think, oh well, there was pressure on him, and he completed a pass. Now, what are you talking about? That's not a bad play. But what I think that you got to do on 3rd and long, when you're losing in the 3rd quarter, is you need to just step up in the pocket. There's a huge lane. I'll switch to the different camera angle. There's a huge lane to run here. There's no one in this area. But I don't necessarily think you should run the ball with on 3rd and 18, because I don't think that would work either. But just step up in the pocket, kind of extend the play a little bit more, and maybe let someone get open downfield instead of just checking the ball down. So this is the first play in the segment of I'm gonna be talking about kind of like his feel for the game and how he just some plays he was too passive, like this one, like he just taking what's there when he needed to make a play, and being too conservative. Whereas on this next play, he's overly aggressive. So what happens on this play? The ball is snapped. It's just a traditional drop back. There is some pressure on Tua off the edge, but he has some time to throw here. And when he ends up deciding to do, just really confuses me. He throws a go ball to Jakeem Grant into what kind of double coverage. He was in man coverage, and Jakeem Grant's a very fast player, but the Broncos are in cover one here, and the safety, I believe this is Justin Simmons, ranges over there, and so there's like very little room to make a play here. Definitely no run after catch. If anything, it'd be just a completion, which, I mean, that's awesome, a 40-yard completion, but there's very little chance that you would be able to complete that. And my biggest issue with this is that instead of instead of going to either of his two open receivers, Devontae Parker was on a shallow cross. He was wide open, running over the middle of the field. Tua could have easily thrown that ball in there. That would have been a first down. On second down, this is not third down. This is not 3rd and 30. He doesn't need to get some huge play. This would move the chains. And if you didn't want to do that, he's not looking to that side of the field. He was his read right before Jakeem Grant was Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's open on an out route here. That would probably go for 6, 7, 8, 9 yards, which isn't the greatest, but it sets you up for 3rd and short. That's where you would rather be rather than 3rd and 10, leading to yet another punt. So the next thing I want to talk about is Tua's kind of like just missing reads. I think what leads to this missing these reads is the pressure he was getting, but you guys can decide that on your own. So let me just show you what happens on this play. Tua is getting pressured again. Jesse Davis gets beat again, but he steps up. The edge rusher slips, and you'll notice on this play, it appears to me that he's looking directly at Devontae Parker, who just so happens to be all by himself. This linebacker just completely lets him go. I don't even think he noticed him. And Devontae Parker's on a corner route here. This is such an easy 20, probably maybe 25, maybe even more yard gain. And instead of that, he dances around in the pocket needlessly and ends up getting sacked, kind of. It was a 0-yard gain. They call it a sack. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that he completely missed an easy first down, huge gain to Devontae Parker here. So what makes me think this has more to do with the pressure he had been getting is I've watched every single snap that he's had this year. I've watched every single throw he's made this year. He has been incredible at making reads and making the right decision. And just like that, he's been so good. He's been phenomenal at that. I have not seen a single play like this, especially this exaggerated, with a receiver that open and him just refusing to throw him the ball. So you guys can decide on your own what to attribute this to, whether he's a bust or whatever. If he's terrible just because he had one game. He's a rookie quarterback. This is his 4th game. The 3 games before this, he played, he didn't have to do much in 2 of the games, but he was at least good. He was making the right decisions. He made the right throws. All the help around him, the receivers were better, play calling was better, blocking was better. So overall, the entire Dolphins offense is to blame for this. Everyone contributed to this being a terrible day for their offense. But in my opinion, to say Tua is terrible now, or the Dolphins need to draft a new quarterback, or all that nonsense, that doesn't make any sense to me. I think that he was underwhelming, but not terrible today. Again, he didn't even turn the ball over. He has 1 turnover all in 4 games this year. So it's not like he had Drew Lock's performance last week where he turned the ball over 5 times. He made a couple mistakes here and there, and the situation around him was terrible. So that'll do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and bye.